I think podcast discovery is a multi-channel approach. And I think that there are a number of different ways in for every single person who discovers a podcast at a different time. I just think that there are too many variables in order to make any sweeping statements about how discovery works for even any one person. I discover podcasts in different ways. For example, I was about to push back and say, I get most of my recommendations from newsletters and from cross promos, not so much from word of mouth, but it really is like every once in a while. I mean, I bumped into a friend on the subway recently and she was telling me about a show that she produces for Sony Music. And I had never heard of it before, but I was so intrigued by her word of mouth telling me about it that I went and subscribed to it. But then there's also like, Normal Gossip is a big word of mouth show. There's a bunch of shows that just get kind of passed around in the podcast space. But I really think that everybody at different times has different entry points to different podcasts based on, what they're in the mood for, if they need to learn something rather than be entertained by it. I think this is potentially a unique problem in the podcast space because TV seems to function differently for how people try to consume it or do consume it. But I think that with podcasting, we're always finding different ways in.